Okay, so it just occurred to me that since you guys didn't come to Zoom, I could make you watch a video, or I can't make you do anything, but I could ask you to watch a video. So this is what we're painting here. It's a little print of one of my paintings. And what we're going to do here is we're doing watercolor, and then we're going to do pastel on top of it. So I just did a first coat of watercolor. I'm trying to get it to dry because I want it to be a lot darker than it is. So as soon as it's a little dry, so I think that's better. So I'm just going to get my purple. And the thing about doing watercolor under pastels is you want it to be super intense, the underneath color, and then you're going to refine it with the pastels. So it doesn't need to be perfect or anything. In fact, from the times I've done it before, I've learned that it's better if it isn't perfect. So you can see I'm just sort of slamming it on there. And this time I used too much water, I guess, the first time. So this time I'm just trying not to use any water. And now, so for the clouds, usually if you're just doing watercolor, you would not be able to make the clouds where they're white a color. You would have to save that and save the paper, because in watercolor, the paper is your white. But this time, because I'm going to come over it with pastels and I have a white pastel, I can just go ahead and make these clouds have, I don't know, whatever I want. Some of this pink is what I was thinking. And then my sky up above the clouds is really nice and dark. So I just mixed some blue. I guess I'm gonna have to get some water. When you use it, I'm using a really big brush, and that's the thing, I kind of miscalculated how much water was going to be in my brush. So, but you might be able to do all this in one coat if you didn't use too much water. And then it would really probably been great if I picked up a smaller brush too, but I did not. And you guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know why the Zoom link would not let me start it. So I can understand why you might not be here, is that I had to make a new Zoom link. And I'm going to make a new one for next week too, because I don't understand what's going on. Okay, and so this part of the sky right here, I thought it looked kind of green. And so I decided just to make it pretty green. And then I'll come back with blue over it. Okay, so I'm going to pause this and okay, so just like in a cooking show, I went and I dried my picture, and now I'm going to come over it and with my pastels. So this is a pretty dark blue up here. So in the final thing too. So I'm just going to take my pastel and just come over it. And so the thing that's nice is this rough watercolor paper. You can still see the purple showing through. What I hate in watercolor paper for pastels is if the white shows through. And now I'm just going to work my way down. So obviously this red is way too red to be the white clouds. And you can see I'm just working with a little piece, like about 3/4 of an inch long. And I'm just working with the flat side, and I'm not worrying about filling it all in, because in fact, I don't really want to. I want the watercolor colors to show through. And it's going to do the same thing down here. And I think especially maybe in these clouds a little lower, there's just a little yellow in them. So I'll add some yellow. I just add yellow everywhere. What the heck? And maybe, I don't know, maybe a little green or something. And then what I can do is I can add the white. So you want to be sure that all the colors you want to have in your clouds, or wherever you do it, you get those colors in there first, and then you add the white last. Because once you've added the white, it's hard to do anything else. This is pretty great. I haven't done this in a long time, so. Okay, so okay, and so down here, the blue in the sky is a little bit of a lighter blue. It's kind of greenish. Like the deal is, if you look up at the sky sometimes, you'll see that the higher up you like to look, the darker the blue gets, you know, usually. You can't really make rules about nature like that, but usually the sky near the ground is a little more of a what's called cerulean blue, which is a bluish green. Wow, I can't get over this. This is really fun. Sorry. Okay, so now what am I doing? Oh yeah, the clouds in the shadows. So I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna use my darkest blue. And like this piece a little long, I'm just gonna break it in half. So I have just the perfect size to use with the side of my pastel. You do not have to work this fast. I don't know, why not? I don't think it really helps to think about it all that much. Like it's better just to try stuff and see how it goes. Because like, I don't know how this blue is going to look until I just try it. So right along where the edges of the clouds, where the edge, the white of the clouds meets the dark blue of the clouds, that's a little bit of a soft transition. So like right now I have it super hard. So I need something in between there that will make it sort of roll over from light to dark. I don't really use my fingers when I'm working in pastels, but if you want to, you sure can. But it will cover up some of that undercolor paper color that you used originally if you use your fingers. I'm going to try it somewhere in a minute, just a second. Okay, so like along here, there's sort of a cool shape. So I can take my sky color and just come back and kind of cut in and soften the edge of my clouds and make them a little more like they're fluffy or something. And this cloud is on top of that white part. So I'm going to take my dark color and I'm just going to make sure that this cloud looks like it's on top. And the way I do that is just by making sure that this is the color I use on the top. So if I use my fingers here, that's not too bad. You can still see some of that red coming through. Clouds, sometimes, I mean, I never use my fingers this much. So the clouds are a good place in a way to use your fingers if you're going to, because it helps make them more cloudy-ish. And so I just put some blue there, even though I said before that once you use the white, you sort of can't do anything else, but now I could. All right, down here. So what happens is the sky gets lower down, like this part of the sky is further away from you than this part of the sky, because the sky is going away like a bowl over your head. So the part that is on the horizon is the furthest away part. So what that means is, in the effort to make distance, is things in the distance don't have as much contrast between the light and the dark. So like here we have a lot of contrast, but down here we're not going to have nearly as much. So, and the other thing is the colors get a little more muted. Yeah, so I still need a little white on these guys, but and they're smaller, usually, not always, but usually the clouds on the horizon are a little smaller because they're further away. So I know in my experience that sometimes I have kind of treated it like the sky was a flat background to the land. And then somebody drew it to my attention and I was like, oh. So yeah, so the sky is not a flat background. Okay, so here I want camel's hump. This is almost always how I work. I start at the top and I work down, because everything, the further down on the paper you get, the more close to you things are. So by doing camel's hump after I do the clouds here for the last time, I don't have to worry about an order really until the last time. This makes it really look like camel's hump is in front God, I hate camel's hump. It is so hard to draw. What is up with that? Okay, so by doing camel's hump after I've done the clouds, then it makes camel's hump look like it's in front because the pastel literally is on top of the underneath color. Okay, and so here I have this purpley color. So I'm just using the same blue over it, but I'm not going to try to cover up the purple so much. And maybe I need to use a little green too. I don't know. I don't really know. Just going to try it. And maybe I made that too dark. So let's come over again. So your darkest colors are in the foreground and your lightest colors. And then as things get further away from you, they get more averaged. So that's why, I mean, you know, camel's hump is some sort of dark green. Well, not this time of year, but this was summer. You know that there's all these trees there on camel's hump, and that if it was up close to you, you would see those trees. But because it's far away from you and things get cooler in the distance, cooler in color. So if you think green is made up of blue and yellow, so there's more yellows in the green up close and more blue in the green far away. Next time you're driving down the road, if you ever do get to drive down the road, just look at the layers of mountains out your window and you'll see how that goes, how they get lighter and well, more averaged, and how they get not as, so this is not a very good drawing thing right there, but you know, that's maybe I can fix it. I hate to ever leave anything once I've noticed that it's not very good. Sometimes that can be bad, really bad. But what was not good right there was it looked like the mountain ran right into the land in front of it. So it makes it a little harder for it to look like it's in front. I mean, that part of it's in front, part of it's behind. All right, well, that actually went better than I thought it would. Okay, so why don't you guys give this a try? And my plan is to see you on Jaden on Wednesday, and Ruby and Jaden, I called you back on Thursday during our class time. So I really hope to see you then, okay? All right, and sorry about the link. I'll make sure the other links work before class starts. Bye.